how did you get into the AV and TV and hosting? And yeah, we'll start with that.
Yeah, man, that's a handful for sure. God, I guess it really kind of goes back to early 80s whenever VHS cameras came out. My grandfather bought me one, like, it was the size of a suitcase. And I took it around in Llano where I was living growing up and probably videotaped friends and, radio stations that I was listening to, KTSA back in the day, and just having fun with a video camera, and that grew into, as I got into Austin at age 18, basically flipping on the TV, and you would see tons of access programs on, and all sorts of footage was happening. A lot of political, a lot of religious, but there were some stalwarts doing music, man. Kevin Roberts, Sue Cole, and even the Dolavision guy, Scott Spurlock, were all doing like TV programs. Hank Sinatra, Texas Music Show. There was all these music shows, and I would see local bands on there, and I was like, that's cool, and I would always watch. But I had one of those suitcase VHS machines and lugged it around on my shoulder when I met this local band, probably 86, 87, called Mud Pie. And, they were kind of a Southern rock, half cover, half original band. And I'd go videotape their gigs, and we'd sit around the couch and get a case the weekend after the gig and slam beers and watch the show. And then I was like, how do I get that on that channel? And I'd say that was about 87 when I went to the Dougherty Arts Center, which was giving the lessons at the time, and most of the access programs came out of the Dougherty Arts Center.
Isn't that place, I'm sorry to interrupt, which I'm really good at, but isn't the Dougherty Arts Center over there by Palmer?
Yes.
Like where, sort of behind where the old Austin City Coliseum used to be.
100%.
Wow,
Yes.
I passed by that. Yeah, I used to pass by there on a daily fucking basis. That's hallowed ground there because the original Waterloo Records was right there. That's such a cool neighborhood right there, close to Zilker and all that. I passed by that place all the time. I had no idea what the hell that was. I just thought it was some fancy yoga studio or something.
Yeah, and it's still doing great stuff. A lot of art comes there,
Okay.
It's a good place, but that's where they were located at the time. And I took a camera course, and I don't know, man, it felt pretty daunting because it wasn't my suitcase. It was new, and it had wires and a portable machine, and it felt very challenging. So I was like, all right, let me get my suitcase. And I went out and probably about that time started hitting the back room a lot. And we all remember, we're veterans of the back room, and we know how they put bills together, and like you could see 4 bands, 7 nights a week, and hit record, man. And so I started documenting every show I went to, and started having many more beers on the weekends with bands and watching the videos on my couch, Fast forward probably 3 years of that, and I've got just cases of tapes and stuff. I'm like, all right, I got to figure this out, man. And late 89, I went to the access facility again, and I was like, what do I need to do? Because I got all this stuff, and I really want to be one of those shows that I watch, So they said, oh, let me see, what's your name? Oh, yeah, this is probably a good time for you to take an edit course, because if you don't do anything in 3 years, we purge the records. I'm like, sign me up for the edit course. And so Sue Cole gave me the edit class, and I learned how to put shows together. So in probably mid 89, I started rolling those VHS tapes over to these big broadcast tapes that were called U-matic videotapes, and they were 30-minute programs. We aired on Friday and Saturdays. I want to say it was 5:30 to 6 in the afternoon from about June of 89 until we went live at the end of that year. And first show was Pariah, of course. And
nice.
Yeah, we had to do like, Near Dark, and the drill. And that's what we were doing, man. And those shows caught ground, and I was like, okay, that's cool, but I see these call-ins. Oh, how do I do that? You know? And so I
Mm.
took the studio courses. I took the advanced editing courses. And in 1990, we went live. And I was like, man, I'm doing local music. Who's going to be my biggest audience? And I'm like, that's going to be people like after midnight. And so I shot for Saturday nights when people were getting home from gigs. And at the time, it was kind of unlimited with the airtime that you would get. So I chose midnight to 4 a.m. I don't know what I was thinking and how I did that, but 4 hours every week, man.
Oh my.
And yeah, sure enough, man.
Is this capsize we're talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Capsize is my heart and is my passion. Raw time came around as more of a have to kind of thing, and that's a whole nother story. So, you know, we get on there and we play videos, and people would always be like, "Hey, dude, can you play some Metallica?" I'm like, "Nope." As soon as they move to Texas, "Hey, man, will you play Van Halen?" Nope. As soon as they move to Texas, it's all Texas music. So
Yeah.
we push that envelope. I'm like, "Here's some more bands you haven't heard of." And, you know, they're like, "Oh, that band that you just played, what were they called?" "Fuck you, fat guy." And I was like, cool.
Right,
And,
right. It was, let me pause for a second and say the glutton for punishment hat you chose to wear by going live and taking phone calls. Because just, you know, when you throw yourself out there like that, you got big balls. Because I'm looking for the button on social media in modern times. I'm looking for the button that says no comments. I'm not asking you for a review of shit. You like it, you follow it. You don't like it, you fuck off, right? So the fact that you are, as an artist, technically you're like an MC video. I don't want to say a VJ. It's kind of what you are, but you're kind of like a DJ, a VJ, a host. All of these words come to mind, but you're also on the technical side of it. What?
yeah,
What was that?
a cultivator.
Okay.
Cultivator. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because you did. Let me just call it that. You did create culture during a time that I feel like Austin needed a culture and was budding as its own sort of like underground rock culture between, sure, we mentioned the back room and we can talk about the back room for hours, but you had the Black Cat and you had all of 6th Street was around that time. It was still cool to be on 6th Street and play a gig on 6th Street.
Yep.
And all those years, South by Southwest coming around, what did you have to do to film bands that came through during South by? Did you have to do anything different for your show?
Well, gain momentum. I guess win over Margaret Mosier's heart was kind of what I felt like did it. And that was definitely not by intention. I've never done anything that we've done because I wanted to get someone's attention other than everybody. But she took a real liking to what we did. And I guess that made us cool for that little circuit, right? So Casey Monahan, all those Texas cool people, man, were big supporters of what I did. And so early on, I'd say it wasn't really so much early on for South by because we were always, you know, the drill, man. We were the kids in black. We didn't like want to be on the cool team, you know, but they reached out and were like, "Hey, do you want to cover some of South by?" And I'm like, "I guess so. Do I get to pick where I want to go?" And yeah, and they're like, "Here's a badge." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then from the first one on to the last one that I did, it became increasingly like you might expect it to be. It was like, okay, well, fill out the thing. Now you got to apply. And I'm like, all right, cool. What, I'm going to get one, right? Yeah. Just apply. And then it just became like, by the time I got to the end of it, the last 2 South bys that I officially was involved with, It was, yeah, here's the badge, but you can only tape, 15 seconds of video, and we need to review everything you're doing. I'm like, see ya.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was one of my questions. It was easy for you to say sayonara.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they made it easy for you to go. It was time for
Yeah.
you to go, probably.
Yeah.